All right, welcome to the Chaos Cast, episode 4. There goes my
We're
mic.
back. We're back. We haven't recorded for a while. Oh, his mic's gone.
No, my
Did Snoop
mic.
say his
I
mic?
dropped. No, I hit my mic and it fell. So,
Oh, okay. Okay.
What's up? It's interesting being back from the grave. I get hit with that abomination tomb. I guess. What's going on?
Actually, real quick, I just thought of something. We should do a
Sure.
quick 5-minute segment. So, Diamond, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've moved on to a different homemade TCG now.
I mean, I played this one for a while, even through playing Chaos Galaxy, but I primarily play a specific one. Yeah.
Okay. You should send us 3 screenshots of a card from that game, and we should try and guess how good they are, and we'll do the same with some newer cards that you might not have seen, or some cards that have
Ooh,
like
there
popped
we
up
go.
or
Okay,
decreased
I
in
like that.
popularity.
interesting. Okay, so I
I
have a
like that.
couple games I can do. One of the games I'm taking a hiatus from currently because it's disgusting. This is that game I told you about, Secret.
Oh
Or
yeah,
I could do
yeah, I know
just the
that one.
staple I've been playing forever.
So, before we start doing that, and that's going to be a really fun way to kind of but instead of kicking off with that, I do just want you, Diamond, to give us a bit of an introduction, like kind of your experience with Chaos Galaxy as a whole. Just give us something,
Mhm.
kind of your story.
Okay. Well, I mean, you should go start to end, I guess, or like, is that what we're talking about here?
Well, don't
So
go
I
end
mean,
to start.
end to start, that
And
also
to
works, but
start,
no. So it was a long time ago when I first found Chaos Galaxy. I don't think I've talked much about it, but I first found the game. When were the Weathermen released? That was set two,
oh
right?
wow, that's a long time.
Wow.
I think that was
Yeah,
set two. When I
way back in
first ever, my
set
first ever
two.
Chaos Galaxy video I watched was Zach was commentating. So I loved homemade trading card games. I had been making one for years at that point. That I like to play with my friends, but um, while I was on YouTube, I found Zach making a video and on like how to make a card game, those sorts of things. And I watched his content. And I think the first ever video I saw with the Chaos Galaxy card in it was him drawing the Weatherman, like a time lapse over it, while he's commentating, just talking about the game. And I was like, this game looks sick. These cards look sick. So I was like, okay. And I watched it for a bit. Um, then I stopped watching with a lot of things going on. Went through with my life until about COVID in 2020. I was indoors, and so I saw a prime opportunity to just join the game. I heard that there was a Discord, there's a lot of tournaments going on, and so I learned to play the game, joined it. Um, my I was when I first joined, I was speaking with I want to say it was Silverfang. I think I was speaking with Silverfang, and he was telling me to just find a planet that was not terrible to play. I ended up choosing Pelysium, which was terrible to play, but the planet looked interesting to me. It was like
Yep.
just summon big guys. And then of course I found what would inevitably be the deck of choice for I think it was roughly 4 or 5 months in Diablo. That's one thing as well. I think a lot of people who were there at that time in um, mid to late, what was it? Uh,
2020.
Sindel format.
Oh,
Yeah, mid
Oh
to late
yes.
Sindel format.
Is
I
this
feel like
just before Black Hole Battles 2, is it?
I think that was the first tournament I played in. Uh, no, wait,
Okay.
no. That's the one that Sword came into, right?
Yeah, it was.
Oh no, I was playing for a few months before that. That's the thing as well. It's like I think a lot of people didn't realize how that I was actually playing at that time because I was so terrible at the game. I think I went like 0 and 7 in sets and like 0 and 14 in games. I didn't win a single game in that whole period, but I loved playing Diablo. Um, I specifically hated Gehenna because every time I played Diavocadra, there was always a Gehenna to just steal it, which infuriated me. But outside of that, when I first came, I saw Polysium. It looked interesting. I found Diavocadra, built the list, had terrible luck with it until Pally format rolled around, and Pally got really, really strong. Um, I ended up building a mid-range list that I thought was really good. Um, I still think it was a good list now, looking back at it. I mean, it's kind of hard to build a bad Pally list at that point, you know. Um,
Yep.
but I think the deck had a lot of merit to it. There were a few questionable choices, as I was always getting roasted every week for a new choice. You know, that was but roasted in love. For most of the community, it was just but still, I loved it. With Polysium specifically, I think I did pretty well. I think I finished fifth or fourth in SBR. I think it was fifth, right behind Luveg, Secret, and I think
You
Oddish was ahead
finished
of me.
fourth. I just
Was it
checked.
fourth?
It was Oddish,
Okay,
me, Luig, and then you.
gotcha. And then I think I finished like right above. I don't remember. It didn't really matter because
Just
there were only
above
like
fifth.
6 people in the whole format. So like it's not really
Yep.
like it was that
Yeah.
great. But I had a lot of fun with it. I know a lot of people hated it. I think that's probably my greatest hot take. Was that I loved Pally format. Um, was it because Polysium was good? Probably, but in general, I think it was an underappreciated format. Um, but outside of that rambling, I went to them play Pally, and Pally format did great with that. Post Pally format with the ban list, and I think that was the release of Set 5 at that point. I played. No, it was
It
before
went
Set
ban
5.
list.
It was
Yeah, we
post
had
ban
a
list, but
ban list
before Set
format for a
5,
few
right?
months, and then set
Yeah.
5. Yep.
And then ban list format, I think I played Bugs aggro and went like I think I remember it was like 5-0 in pools, and then got really tilted that Oddish somehow still qualified when I think Snoopers was supposed to qualify or somebody else. And so then
Oh, I
I
Yeah,
remember that
got
I remember.
tilted, and I
fiasco.
basically just basically threw away the whole set. I was like, I don't want to play. I'm not playing Oddish again. I barely beat him. Been a guy that's been what like God, he has such an insane record on me. It's like 1-8 maybe. So like I didn't want to play him again. Uh, after that, I think I played another deck. I don't remember what it was. It was terrible.
Probably Roka,
Um,
I think. I think you really like Roka,
it
right?
was Roka. I think it was Roka mid range, and I liked it. But it was not great.
You
Uh,
started
then I
playing it when
hopped onto
set 5
mind
came out, right?
control. Do what?
You
Was
started
that
playing
screen?
Roka when set 5 came out, right? Or was it before set 5?
No, it was at set 5. But at set 5, it was
Oh,
like
okay, good.
it was a mixed bag. Like I played some Roka, but I played a lot of mind control in tournaments. I think I played 2 tournaments with mind control, which I did decent in, I think. And then, lots of altercations within the community, and so I left. But um I don't regret any of the my time in Chaos Galaxy. I would still recommend um the game to anyone. It's one of the best games I played. But that's my story mostly. Any questions
I
or
mean,
anything, you
I
know?
I will add on to that. So
hmm
what's good is that the community is I think we're heading in a good direction. So you'll probably be pleased to hear that that it's happening. Like we have new people that are just spreading some really nice positivity and like making their own things.
Oh
It's
yeah, I
pretty
got
nice.
approached by someone from the community. I think it's
Yep.
a Billy Boom.
Yep.
He had spoken with me once. I was playing a different card game, and he joined in. We talked a bit, and he seemed like a cool guy. So it seems like you guys have a new influx of people that are really doing well. And of course, you saw the people who were like joining as I was leaving. The people like Chrono, who I hear is doing really well.
Yep.
You have a lot of really good players, and I've heard a lot of comments, and I think you guys are really starting to thrive. It's really great. Great to see from the outside.
It is great, yeah. We've got lots of
Mhm.
people coming through. For some reason, you've got, I'm not even sure how it happened, but you've got this reputation as like almost like a legend, like a mythical creature that people just speak of, and yeah, for some reason that happened. So
That's
we have to
a
deal with that
very
now.
Yeah.
interesting interesting observation.
Yeah,
I
I don't even know
mean,
how it started. Just one day, everyone just started. Not everyone, but like the newer people
mhm.
were just like, "Wow, DiamondDeploy, what a goat!"
I mean that's good to hear. At least it's not at least it's not negative press. I'm very thankful, and it's interesting to hear my name still going around. I guess when I'm not when I haven't
Well,
been a part of the
I
community
mean,
for months.
yes, and I think uh well, and that happened with a lot of other people. Like I know Mush,
Mhm.
when Mush took a break, it was like everybody was just like
Yeah.
Mush, Mush. Like
Well, I mean, Mush
it's
is like iconic. Mush is iconic.
yeah. Well,
But you did
I
the
think the deal
database,
is
so
that
you're iconic as well.
yeah.
Mhm.
What Secret said. It's just I think anybody who spends a very good amount of time talking and in the community and being active is like even if they leave, like I mean we have plenty of people like oh, did you know that Rylizer came back?
Oh yeah, Secret was telling me about that. That he had joined back. That's really cool. I never uh I don't think I ever spoke with Rylizer, or if I did, it wasn't like much. I think he was like right before my time. But I'm not sure. I think he might have been there in a
Yeah, I think he was
Sindel
inactive
format.
when you were here. So
Hmm.
you guys might have been in a conversation, but it wouldn't have been much.
I mean, I definitely remember seeing like the random message every once in a blue moon. But I don't think I ever like had a conversation with him. But
Yeah.
he was a great part of the community as I've been told at least, and what I remember, and that people loved talking about him and everything. So it's great to see that even old heads are coming back to the game.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah, it's
really good
great.
sign.
And then,
Hmm.
Yeah. All right.
all right, do we get to move on to the cool section?
Yeah. So yeah, let's do this. I'm curious to see
Okay.
what Diamond's got cooking.
Okay.
So should we select 5 cards, 4 cards? What should
Let's
it be?
do
4
five
seems good.
cards. We
5.
can do 4. We can do 4 or
All right.
5. Either way, I'm fine.
Well, we'll
I've got
just
an
see how many
interesting
we do
You
before
selection.
we
were
start
saying
getting bored. We'll just
Okay.
do as
I've got
many
4.
before we.
I've got 4 here ready to go,
Okay.
and I've got
Okay.
some outlines. We can rate them out of 5 probably.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
That seems good.
So those will be shown up. Sorry, listening viewers. If you're just listening, then you're not gonna see any of the cards. We'll probably try to explain to you the cards as
Mhm.
best as we can, though.
We'll read them
Well, I
out.
mean, for the Chaos Galaxy cards, they'll know. But
Maybe,
for the
maybe.
other cards, I mean, okay. Let's see. So I just want to
Um,
go card by card here.
Probably. Yeah, we
Yep,
can
card by
alternate.
card.
We can alternate.
Okay.
Like we
Let
can have
me
diamond, and then
start.
we can have.
Sure. So we have Angry Totem here. I remember Angry Totem. I remember it's set 5. I remember like I loved the card. I thought it was gonna be a staple in every list. I think I played like the start of set 5 format. I don't remember anyone playing it. Um, but I do know that like boards weren't really going wide. You were in like maybe 1 or 2 creatures at a time. Um, our board's going wide. Uh, that's really what it comes down to. Because if boards aren't going wide, this card seems insane. Um, I'd say this is on the scale here. I'd say this is a 4 for like. I don't know if that's a 4. It's probably like a 3
Just
actually.
real quick.
Niche competitive play
Just real
where it's
quick.
like where it's a nice sideboard. Hmm.
Can I just read out the scale real quick? So at
Sure. Yeah.
1,
Yeah.
if it's 1 out of 5, it's why are you playing this? So this is like a card really you should never play.
Hmm.
Number 2 is also basically it's similar. I called it shouldn't play this, but some decks like maybe 1 in every 10 deck it might just suit. And then card number 3, level number 3 is niche competitive play. So it's a card that if you see it in a competitive deck, you don't question it, but it isn't being played too often. And then number 4 is lots of comp play, which means it's being played in a few decks. it might be the key piece to a competitive deck, and then number 5 is it's really broken or it's a staple essentially.
Hmm. I would probably put this on the niche play, but like it. I don't know if I count like a dedicated sideboard slot as niche or lots of comp play. Um, I definitely put it in that area. I'd probably put it at niche though, at a 3. How does that sound?
All right. I believe it's number 2. It's a card that if you see it,
Mm.
you aren't like vomiting your eyeballs out, but you probably should be playing things like Abandonment or Time Flash Portal or some other removal option instead. So not bad, not bad. And yeah, the boards are
Okay.
a bit wider right now, which is why it isn't as great.
I see. Yeah, because like if you were running like a 1 or 2 creature boards, like this is probably very detrimental. It itself could out a board or even get you face points. It seems so. But if boards are going wide, yeah, I mean I could definitely see that.
Indeed.
Yeah, this in Polysium format, I think it'd be a good card in that format because that format was a bit more one creature board orientated.
Yeah, but they also had double crown, so it's interesting. I'm not sure exactly how it would have fit in poly format. I mean, also to be fair though, my boards usually went 1 or 2 wide, but I also had terrible star economy, so I can't say much about it. But it probably would have done a lot better in poly format versus now because well, you have like a ton of zone gain now, if I remember correctly. They're like 4 creatures
Yeah,
now that
Yeah.
just give you
there's good
zones.
zone gain,
Well, and
good
another
star
thing is
economy.
that drawing cards is already very efficient, so like this just kind of like speeds up your
Hmm.
opponent in that case.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Yeah, so not bad. One,
yeah,
that's a
but
pretty good guess.
Okay. That's I'd probably put that more towards luck though, to be fair. So let's see. Next card here we have Shiosian Lava Mole. Um, I guess I'll read it out for the audience in case they're not watching. We got 180 power, 100 health. It's a 4-star Shios. When this creature attacks and kills an opponent's creature, your opponent must kill 1 activator card in their hand. If they have none, kill this card. Um, I remember this card seeing a little bit of play when I left. I think Fish was playing it, and
mhm.
I ran into a dispute with Quasar because of this card. Um, Based off of just why should you reveal off Mole but not off of like Cursed Bellows, for example. Which I mean would be stupid if you could reveal off Cursed Bellows, but that's a side argument. So I remember, but what I'm all this say, I remember this card seeing play. How widespread do I think it is now, though? Um, is Turret banned?
No,
Nope.
this current ban list is the one you left with.
Oh, okay, so there's no new ban list.
Yeah, we've been in a drought.
I could. Oh, I
It's
mean, there was a
it's
long drop for Pally format, so I get it. Zach's not the fastest on ban lists, it seems.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Gosh, I'm gonna go. I don't think it's a staple, so I don't think it's gonna be a 5. I'd put it at a 4 though. I'd say it sees a lot of comp play, but not really a staple.
Okay, that's. I personally think it's 5. Most people put it at a 4 though, so spot on. It's the most played creature. It's also
It's the
very
most played
strong.
Well,
creature.
according to
as well.
his statistics.
Mm-hmm. But I mean,
According-
still,
Well,
like, even if
and
like it's the most
it
played
just
and like
should be.
ranked, that's still a really big deal.
It's true though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Darkspark or Shiosian Lava would have to be the most played, and I don't even think it's close. They're both
Mhm.
very generic and splashable, and especially with Shiosian Lava there's about 5 staple activators, so it's hitting most of the time. So it's just very, very strong and sometimes better than something like a AAA.
I mean, yeah, you're definitely hitting more often than you're missing, and even when you miss, I don't even know if that's too bad because when you hit, it probably just makes up for the whiff. Um,
Yeah, essentially.
okay, so now we've got Tribite. I remember this card very vividly. So it's a 130 power, 100 health Gaios 3-star. Um, After this creature is killed by your opponent, free play it to an empty zone on their planet as a resource. Also treat as own Gaios, then kill this card after 3 of their turns. So it's essentially like a temporary slush infest that only procs on opponent killing. Was it always that way? I could have sworn that there used to be like you could flooper it to the opponent's board, or was it always like killed by opponent?
Um, it was always like this, I believe.
Okay.
Maybe
Maybe.
in the reveal video it could have been different, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's always been like this on release.
Very
That's what I was
interesting.
thinking. Yeah.
Where would I put this card? I mean, this card seems good. Only issue is like, is it worth? First of all, committing one of your zones to it. Because you have to play it to your zone. It's also dead if they just go full board. So like if you have just Tribite and they have 2 creatures zone with 2 creatures in them, this is dead on. It's just a dead card. Oh, it goes to empty zone. Ooh.
Any empty
Oh
zone, yeah.
gosh, that's tough. Um, I'm gonna say I don't. I'm gonna assume Gaios is not like tier 0, and I'm gonna assume there aren't like many Gaios decks. So I'm gonna put this at 3 because I think it's. I would assume it sees play in Gaios, but like there aren't enough Gaios for this to be lots of comp play. If that makes sense. That's my take. I think I'd put this at 3 is my assumption.
Okay, I think it's 1. There isn't a
Ooh.
competitive deck that plays it, and I don't see a reason you'd play this over another small creature like a Dropper Squizzer, Wacky Man, a Shiosian Love Mole. There just seems like a lot of better options for smaller creatures. But I could see a case for it being maybe 2. It doesn't see niche competitive play, so it's definitely 2 or 1, leaning towards 1.
I know Pixels said something about Trebite. He was like, Trebite could be really good.
Recently people have been hyping up this card for some reason. I've got no clue why.
I mean,
There could
if
be
you
a
read the
development.
card, if you read just the text, it seems kind of crazy, you know.
Yeah, I
The
think on
reason
release people were pretty excited for it.
it gives me like field vibes, where people weren't really like abusing field in Sindel format, uh, but like it was good enough to be abused.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
mean,
can we take a quick break real quick? I'll be right back. If that's all right.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, give me just a second.
All right, Snoopers, we cutting this out or should we keep on talking?
I'm just here. I'm just gonna ask this question to you and then to Diamond. So my thought is like, do you think if Shiosian Lava Mole gets like banned or like shadow banned, so like either like it gets on the ban list or like activators get on the ban list, so it becomes less relevant? Do you think that will affect Trebite?
Okay, I see how you could make that connection, but I don't think so. I think big chain of smaller creatures that come before Tribite, unfortunately.
Darn. It's just interesting because I think Gaius got like
And
I think we like got a lot of hits like when we saw the initial Gaius set 5 video, that had a lot of like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. And like I feel like I don't know how to, I'm trying to think. Probably like 6 of the 7 cards were considered to have potential. Like Temagrob,
it ended up being pretty good as well.
like
All those cards ended up seeing play, surely.
yeah. I just
Except
remember them
Tribite,
being
yeah.
initially like oh yeah, we're gonna play this, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think because are we counting Deep Space Lighthouse as a part of the Gaius planet profile?
Well, yeah, that indirectly helped that, yeah. We can
So I think Super Flooper, Temagrob, Spore Gazer, and
You're-
Sistian for a bit early on in the format all saw play.
Yeah, let me look
All
on
right,
there.
I'm back.
We were just talking about
He's back.
like
He's back.
random stuff. I
Gotcha.
will say you probably know about this. So like when the Gaios set 5 video initially came out, like most of the cards seemed like they had a lot of potential besides like Skizzard, I guess. Like everything
I
else, like
would. I mean, I felt like a lot of the cards had a lot of potential, but I also am well known to overhype cards. Um, so I can't say for sure.
well, because
Um,
I will also
mhm.
say that like upon release, I mean, I think people were playing Sapling Squads, people were playing Red or Sistian, people were playing Super Flooper, Temagrob, Trebite, even Spore Gazer. So
Mhm.
that's just an
Yeah, I
interesting
mean,
thing to think about.
I feel like the meta was very diverse when it released, but as over time, it's
It's
probably
refined
slowed
itself. Yep.
down. Yeah. Okay,
It
and
would
then
be interesting to go back and see what all the like see all the profiles for a video and just see which ones are the best
oh
and
yeah, I
which
mean,
ones
I feel
follow
like you get
through.
a lot of interesting discussion from that. Just like looking back at um the old stuff and trying to see like even just looking back at like how people reacted to it, like reading the comments and seeing what people thought.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. There's been a lot
Anyway,
of
two more.
interesting
Two more.
takes, especially like
Mhm.
way back in the day.
Mhm. Okay, so we've got what, two more cards here to check
Yeah,
out?
so we'll go with
Yeah.
Guster.
Guster. Okay. Uh Guster 150 150 Roka 4-star. When this creature's cosplayed, you can remove any one empty zone from your opponent's planet.
One of the
Um
OGs.
I'm very interested why you chose this over Sneakoon or Sneakin. That makes me think that maybe this sees niche play, but Sneakon doesn't for some reason relating to Sindel, or maybe because it returns. Um, though maybe I'm like metagaming this. Um, I mean, I remember Guster not being too bad. It wasn't like good, but it wasn't too bad. Roka probably played it. I mean, Roka almost certainly played it, but it's just the question is, does Roka see play? Um, I mean, with the Scardians, there's no way Roka doesn't see play. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 3 for like niche comp play because I think maybe Roka sees just enough play to where Guster sees play.
Yeah, I'd completely agree with that. 3 or
Hmm.
2 is where I'd put it. I'd put it in 3 though, because you see
Hmm.
it sometimes pop up in Xemius, and then just those like sort of tier 3, tier 4 rogue decks, maybe a Sindel control, or a Roka mid range. Those decks that aren't like tournament favorites, but are still playable. So I'd
Hmm.
say 3 for niche competitive play.
I think
Okay.
yeah, because Shiozian Lava Behemoth is kind of the more popular pick in terms of being able to like annoy your opponent with zone removal. So
Gotcha. Okay.
these days.
It
Just
definitely
curious, real
seems
quick.
sure.
What was your comparison with Sneak On? Were you thinking Sneak On might have been the better option?
Well, I was saying like the fact, if I remember correctly, I think Sneak On's a little cheaper. Like I think it's a 3-star, but I could be wrong on that.
4-star.
It's
Also,
also
it's also 4. But it's also Sindel, which I think over time Sindel's seen a lot of play. Obviously with Skelequeen back, you've got a lot of really good Sindel, it seems. So I thought, he's choosing to not use Sneak On maybe because it doesn't see play even in like Sindel lists, which I feel like are probably common. I thought maybe because Sneak On didn't see, maybe you didn't include Sneak On because that would be like maybe you didn't include Sneak On because it's slightly worse than Guster, so it's probably harder to gauge. I'm not sure exactly why, but my assumption was mostly because maybe Sneak On doesn't see play, making Guster see a little more play because Guster's a little more versatile um, over Sneak On. But maybe I'm just wrong there entirely.
yeah. No, Guster's definitely a bit better, I'd say.
And it looks like you just put a 5th card a bit ago. So let's
Yeah,
let's see this one here. Avalanche Overlord. I feel like I've heard this card. I don't vividly remember it. But let's see. It's a 300 360 Barrow that is 7 stars. Interesting. When this creature is played, kill all zone creatures with 400 or more power. Okay. So this is just pally hate. I see. Um,
And a few other things as well, like
a
Skelly
few other
Queen,
things. True.
Well, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Well, I mean, does
Okay,
Skelly?
okay.
I assume Skelly Queen probably sees play, but like, if surely you're outing Skelly Queen with a dude that has more than 80 power, right? Like, you're probably not looking for something like this to out a Skelly Queen.
Usually, yeah.
But this is definitely for your like serpents. Maybe no way Omnius sees play, but assuming Omnius might see play. I remember when I left, I was testing a lot of Xemius, so this is like an out to Xemius, and I think I remember playing it in Xemius. But I also don't know. Who do we play as the Barrow? Oh no, Oddish and I were crazy. We were playing Battera and for the Barrow card. Yeah. And but this card, okay, so it has a lot of targets. How many of them are meta relevant is really the question. I feel like it can't be many. I feel like I don't know if Pally is that meta relevant to where this card. I don't want to put this at 2. But like it's so expensive. I mean, but 360 health doesn't seem too bad. What was the power I haven't played in a while. I think it's Diabolus. I think that card I remember seeing a lot of play.
Hit. No, Diabolus can't hit.
Yeah,
can't hit over
290 power.
Okay. So it definitely has some versatility in that sense where it just outlasts some of the other what I would assume are probably common large guys in decks.
Yep.
I'd probably put this at a 2. Or like, because like I don't know how to gauge it. I feel like it's a sideboard card. Like I feel like you run 2 of this in sideboard for when you face Pally, or maybe Xemius. But like I don't know if you ever main deck this card. So I don't know if I put that between 2 and 3, or if I put that at 3. But I'd probably put it like 3, leaning towards 2 would be my call.
Okay. Put this in 4. It sees a lot of competitive play. It's sort of like view it as removal on a body. Yeah. Even though it doesn't seem great to play into Skelly Queen, but against that deck, if they've got 2 creature boards every turn, sometimes you need to break their board open, and this can help break their board open and give you a body just in one card, which is great. And there's actually a lot of targets. So Xemius, it obviously kills the Polysium creatures.
Yeah.
Skelly Queen as well. They're the main ones. But then randomly in decks, they might just play a Super Flooper, a Shiosian Lava Behemoth, and just run into some of those as targets.
I didn't think about Flooper Behemoth. Interesting.
Calican.
Okay, yeah. So
even
I
if
can see that.
even if you don't run into them, it's still got pretty good stats. Especially with Beast of the Congress and Darkspark Diaboling super relevant. It obviously walls them out and it can kill them. And as well with Soul Shroom, if you're playing Soul Shroom and a Rainbow deck, most decks just play 1 copy of this.
Oh, 1 copy seems super bad though, but I guess I'm not certain on that.
It's like a toolbox card. So you're familiar with what Soul Shroom does?
Yeah. That's 4 different planets free play one of them, something like that. If you have 4 different different planets and free play one.
In those decks, you might use Soul Shroom to get this back 2, 3, and with Abomination Tomb even 4 or 5 times a game. So against Xemius and Tempo, that's going to be super helpful. And against the other matchups, you just don't bring it back.
I think that's another thing I probably undervalued was that it also triggers on free play. Because like I guess I was thinking closer like Pelfam that is only on cosplay. Like the fact that it triggers on any play is definitely a bit more of a plus that I definitely didn't evaluate, I should say.
Yeah. So overall, you did pretty good. I expected cards like Shiosian Lava Mole you would think are really bad. You might think Tribite and Angry Totem are broken, but you did pretty good. I think you were within 1 every time besides
Overlord, it seems.
I forget which one. Yeah, Overlord, I think. Right, you got any cards for us?
Wait, I want
Yes,
to
I've
wait
got.
real quick. I
Yeah, yeah,
want to
what's up?
do I just want to like light theory crafting. So I'm really
Absolutely.
curious what this armor is on Avalanche Overlight. Like what is this?
Okay, it's
What
a.
is what
Hmm.
Honestly, it looks like metal things.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
metal
like
things.
it just doesn't look natural. So like or is it natural?
I mean, isn't there a thing with Barrow is like a super intelligent group of
Yeah.
in the lore at least. So maybe it's like this is just some creation that's natural to Barrow, but isn't intelligent and is like kind of like the kind of like an elephant in an army, it's like this is the thing that you put armor on it. It's like a big blocker whenever you go to like battle. It's like the front people, they got a little armor on it to make it last a little longer. That would be my assumption, that this is made by like the intelligent like den sort that just slap armor on it so they don't die in battle. But maybe that's also going too deep in
Well,
the lore.
I
That's just
mean
my
like
thought.
an overlord is
I mean, it is also probably a leader of whatever its
yeah, it's
race is,
an
as
overlord is a ruler, like yeah, someone with great power or authority. So maybe like because it has the armor, it just gives it a place like an extra like
It probably just like to
intelligence.
signify that it's the leader, of the group. That could also be it, I
Yeah,
think.
like it probably has more intelligence due to the armor maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay,
Anyway,
so I've got 5 cards here. Do you guys want to work together on it, like you guys just discussed with each card?
Yeah, we'll
sure.
work together. Yeah,
Okay, I
We're
am
gonna
dropping them
and
here.
just like
Ooh.
a niche 60-second rule would also be nice. Like
Yeah,
not super in detailed, but just
yeah. So
a nice.
a little bit of background for each of these cards. The first 2 cards are called hero cards. Um, they're the purple cards there. The third card is a gold card. Those are it's an artifact, which is also it's a gold colored card, and the other 2 cards are creature cards. So a little bit of explanation. Each When you start the game, you start with 3 heroes on the board. These are like if you had 3 planets, basically, right? Each of those heroes has 3 support zones where you would put your creatures. Okay. Um, so that helps with the creature explanation. At the start of every turn, you will gain 4 gold. Um, unless you have like an effect that increases your gold gain at the start of your turn. So whenever you see the cost at like the bottom of this gold card here, whenever we get to that one, it says it's a 6. So that's going to be it costs 6 gold to play it, and then you resolve the effect.
Interesting.
Um, Other than that, you have the name, the picture. The 2 boxes there are abilities. I'll explain the abilities if you want to know them. Or we could just ignore them as relevance. They're not really relevant for the 2 heroes anyway. I guess they're a little relevant for the second hero, but not too much. Then you have the health stat, which is just how much health it has. When it dies, it dies. And then the sword is the attack stat. So if you were to play like an attack, it would deal damage from that. Otherwise, the cards are self-explanatory there. Um, and I think
Wait,
that's all the explanation that's necessary.
the
Outside
red
of
ones.
actually the
What
red
are
ones,
the
there are two. On the red ones, these are spells. The ones I chose
Oh.
specifically are creatures. Within this game, I'm well known as like the creature guru. All the decks I build are creature decks, and they're very good creature decks, I would say. Um, that middle right number is the level. Levels that you would need to uh like if it was a level 1, I would need at least 1 copy of a card called Summoning Magic, which increases my ability to cast spells of the Summoning Magic, which is the left side there. That little symbol is Summoning Magic School. I would need like 1 of that. So since it's a 0, this just means that anybody can use it. And that's really about it. From that, uh I guess the only like really big thing that's left is for the bottom 2 there, or I guess the bottom 3. The gold card artifacts don't require. Uh, there's basically a second like kind of currency in the game called an action. You get 1 action per turn. Uh, Artifacts don't require an action, but the creatures do. So in other words, if you play this action, you can't play another action unless it's like an additional action, if that makes sense. Um, Actions are very valuable. A lot of your cards that win you games require your action and prevent you from using further actions. That's how powerful they are. So the cost of an action is very important. Any questions with what I said there? Any clarification needed, maybe?
Seems good. Let's get into it.
All right.
Okay,
Okay,
first
so
up.
we got Billy the Valiant Leprechaun. He's got luck, wealth, ability. At the end of your first turn, draw 5 cards or gain 30 gold. That seems very good to my eyes. Okay. You do not have a hand size limit until the start of your second turn, with
Whoa.
400 health and 60.
I forgot to
Okay,
say that
Snoopers,
at
to
the
me,
end of
this
your
sounds
turns.
very good.
I gotta say that real quick. At the end of your turns, you have to like basically banish cards from your hand down to 7. So if you have Willy and you choose the draw 5 option and you end up like having like 13 cards, you don't have to banish cards. You just continue to the next turn. And then on the end of the next turn, if you have over 7, you would banish down to 7. So that's just
Damn, okay,
that's the
This
whole
is
point of
good.
that.
This is really
Okay.
because it basically solves its
I
own
feel like-
problem of drawing too many cards.
To me, it feels like this card's either really good or really bad. So I don't think it's going to be a 3. I'm
Yeah.
gonna guess 4.
I mean, it's
obviously
it's
don't know
definitely a
too much of
wall.
the
It's
game.
definitely just one giant wall. It doesn't do
Okay,
much.
so you guys
Yeah,
got
so-
are you guys going with a 4 here?
Yeah, I
I-
think it's pretty good.
I'm open to a 4 or 5.
Probably a 4.
Okay.
I'll go 4.
This card was a 5 and is currently in a 4, I would say. It was
go,
very
let's go.
recently nerfed. The old effect was at the start of your first turn. So this thing just enabled every FTK you could ever want.
Oh.
As of now, it's still
Yeah.
a very OTK heavy card because you just start turn 2 with 5 extra cards, and like that's or 30 gold. Like artifacts are generally quite powerful because they are really strong and don't use an action, so they have a lot of pluses. So the extra 30 gold to like use in artifacts, it's a really good card around. Once again, the abilities weren't too important, but just to further explain, wealth gives you 4 extra gold at the start of your turn. So in other words, you
Dang.
get a lot of gold for that. And luck is declare a card name. If that's played by your opponent on their next turn, you draw 2 cards. So if I were to, so
Damn.
like if in Chaos Galaxy sense, if I were to like say AAA and then you start your turn, if you ever play AAA, I'm drawing 2 cards.
That's
it's just
crazy.
that's
Damn, this guy's just... It's out here giving you everything you need.
yeah. The only issue really with him is he has 400 health. 400 health is like 350 to 400 are like the lowest healths of your heroes outside of like special heroes have like 100 or 200 for specific effect reasons. So he's not really he doesn't have a lot of health, and that really hinders his performance.
Really?
But otherwise, he is just really powerful in consistency, and in deck building. He's one of the best support heroes in the game. Yeah.
Dang. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, cool. Next we got DiamondDeploy, the keeper
I
of teeth.
chose this card specifically as
Toughness,
this was a
toughness.
card that was designed for me, and I thought it'd be interesting to see what you guys thought about it.
Cool. So we got toughness.
Definitely
5.
got
Creatures you
diamond
control
level text. Just gonna say that.
Yeah. Okay, so
Um,
creatures you control with an original level of 0 don't take damage from negative status effects. Once per turn, when one or more creatures you control with an original level of 0 would take damage from an opponent's attack, spell, or creature effect, you may deal 30 damage per creature to this hero. To negate that damage to those creatures, damage this hero deals to itself with this effect cannot be reduced or negated. Wow. Okay.
So
Initial thoughts is 3.
a little extra
based
there
off
is there are negative status effects in this game. You have blind, which makes it to where that hero, when on a hero, can't target more than one other target next turn with like a card effects. That doesn't see a lot of play, but like the big ones I should say are freeze, burn, and poison. Poison deals 30 damage at the start of your turn. Burn deals 60. And freeze means you can't do anything, like can't activate effects or actions with that card. So a lot of creatures have that 50 health range. So if you have like an AoE burn, you can just kill a lot of creature decks. This is meant to like say creatures don't take burn damage or poison damage anymore, basically. So just want to clarify that real quickly. As well as I guess the toughness. So he has a 400 health. Toughness increases the hero's health by 100. So essentially, he has a 600 health. To also help with the fact that he's going to deal a ton of damage to himself. And that's all I'm giving you.
Right.
Go ahead.
Vibe based, like initial reaction, not trying to think mechanically, is a 3.
Mhm.
And I'm not too sure mechanically how it would fit. It seems
Mhm.
like it really could go either way.
I think you're right. Like, I think it's probably only good if you're playing like things that like legitimately need to be protected.
Yeah, another
So,
thing as well,
mhm.
since it's made for Diamond and Diamond's known as a creature guy, I'm thinking potentially this might be only played in those heavy creature Diamond decks, which
So yeah,
makes me
it's
think
gotta be
it's not a
niche.
5 and probably not a 4. So I think 3 or 2. And just
Yep.
because my initial gut reaction was 3, I'm gonna go 3. What do you think?
Yep. Yeah, that's our final answer.
All right,
Final answer is 3.
3 is our
Okay.
final answer.
Um, this card is probably in the 2 to 3 range. He himself,
Oh,
it's an
pretty
interesting
good.
one because Diamond himself is a very powerful card for like 2 decks. In those 2 decks, he is like the whole game plan of the decks.
Yep.
And in a lot of creature decks, you don't run, and those 2 creature decks really use him because they run only level 0 creatures, original level 0 creatures. So any creature they summon benefited. The issue is a lot of archetypes that use creatures don't have only level zeros. So you're not helping your full boards in a lot of cases because he only helps level zeros. However, my favorite
Mhm.
creature archetype is entirely level 0, which is a lot of the design behind the card. And he is oppressive in that deck, but that's like 1 or 2 decks. And they don't see a lot of play outside of me playing them because they are not easy decks to pilot. They're very combo heavy. Outside of that, though, he's a really good hero in those decks, but not really elsewise. So I'd say 2 to 3. Yeah.
Oh, we'll take that.
Mhm.
All right, Snoopers, do you want to read out the next one and give us your gut reaction?
Sure. The Eating. Lovely. Lovely name.
It's a great name. I love it.
Choose a hero you control and deal 150 damage to it. Choose any card on the board that is not hero and send it to the discard pile. If the target is a creature, this counts as defeating the creature. You can only play one the Yeeting per turn. Um, I think that this is kind of limited in its capabilities. Like it's not terrible because you do get to remove like whatever you want, but you're making like decent sacrifices. Like I think it depends. Like if you have like heroes that can take a hit and do stuff like that helps. You can only play
Yeah,
one the Yeeting, which means it's
I
got to be like kind of good, right?
that's what I was thinking as well. But I was also thinking that could also just make it really bad. And we've had a 3 and a 4. I'd imagine at some point we get a 1 or a 2. So one of these next few cards gonna have to be a 1 or a 2. And this card sounds a bit underwhelming.
I think it's a 2 because I see like
Yeah,
very limited situations where it's like maybe it's okay.
yeah. I'll back you with 2 because I think 1 or 2, and yeah, we'll lock in 2.
Okay, locking in 2. That is an interesting decision. This card, it has a lot of discussion.
Oh, it's
Um,
gonna be a 5. Oh no.
I I would consider it like high 4 or to 5 range.
Oh
Wow.
Um,
no.
Holy
what I have to
crap.
say
Oh
is, by the
no.
way, like when we look at the main big thing with this is it pops any non-hero. So if my opponent is running like a destruction magic deck, which is like I told you guys with the spells, you have summoning magic, you have a lot of different magics. A lot of destruction magic decks run like level 2 or 3 of that ability. You have to have that specific ability No heroes start with 3 destruction magic, so you have to find usually 2 to 3 copies in your deck to even start the deck. This will basically... Oh, that's something I probably should have referenced. Not like it matters, because I'm not adding any abilities into here, but you can only play 1 ability to each hero per turn. So you can essentially negate one of your opponent's ability attachments the entire turn for 150 damage to a hero. On top of that, it also has other applications with like massive creatures. There are some decks that run like 400 health creatures, that removing them is super important. It's had a lot of discussion. It's really back and forth. Some players run 4 copies of it every deck. Some run like 2 to 3, and some don't run it at all. I, for the longest time, didn't run a single copy of it. However, very recently, I'd say a lot of people are just in the 4 club. This is, I'd say, nearly a staple. I'd say nearly a staple in every regard, yeah. Plus, it's only 6 gold. So in other words, it costs you your turn gold plus 2 gold. So it's not even that expensive outside of the damage to a hero.
Man.
So that's a big whiff, but it's understandable though. It's like this card doesn't seem great on paper, but just due to the speed of the game and the necessity of certain cards in it, like a lot of decks revolve around like 1 or 2 cards. So if you can pop it and make them find it again, it really helps you out. But if you guys are ready, you got another card here.
Okay. I'll read this out again. Barkeeper. While you control this creature, all your effects that trigger X times trigger an additional time. Ooh. Okay. Well,
in other words, if you had a card that was like up to twice per turn, or no, like
yeah,
no, up to twice, it'd be like up to 3 times kind of deal.
Yeah, it depends on how many cards there are in this and how many of them are actually good and worth playing. Ooh, that's difficult.
My initial reaction is this is gonna be 1 or 2, leaning towards 1. It that doesn't sound great. Yeah.
I just don't know what cards have that type of ability and like if they're even good.
I could pull you up a card real quick. I could, or let me
We're gonna challenge ourselves.
We're gonna figure this out.
So
I think that there's a few cards that this could work on, but I'm also thinking, why would you spend a card to extend another card's effect when you could just get this card to do something else and be a bit more consistent? That's my thinking on it, and for that, I think it's a low impact inconsistent card, so 1.
But I don't know. I'm gonna say a 2. I think we should just bump it up to a 2 because it really just depends on what card we're looking at. So, but we're gonna I think we're gonna let's lock in 2 because I'm gonna assume that there isn't that many good cards.
So we're locking in 2 here?
Yeah.
Okay. This card is easily one of the worst creatures I've ever seen. This is a 1 in like every regard. It seems really good because it's like if you have a card that's like when your opponent draws a card, draw a card. This would be like when your opponent draws a card, draw 2 cards. Like that sounds insane. The issue is the cards that do that already have restrictions on like how many times they can trigger, and on top of that, this is an action. You're spending your action on comboing when you could spend your action to win after comboing. It's just there's no niche for it that works and helps it. That's the real issue. If there was a deck that really worked around triggering a ton of times, triggering like twice or doing 3 times, like, it'd be different, but it doesn't really have that niche. It just doesn't have a niche to help it. It's just kind of like, it's like your random warrior who looks pretty powerful but isn't, it just kind of sits there and no one ever talks about it.
Well,
fair enough.
Yeah. Huh.
And so you guys weren't actually far off. I think Secret had a really good idea that this card is just really bad, it looks like. And it was really bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the Black Marketeer. When you play this creature, you may choose up to 5 cards from your discard pile, shuffle them back into your deck, and gain 4 gold per card. You may once per turn choose a card from your discard pile, shuffle it back into your deck, and gain 4 gold. You can only summon 1 Black Marketer per game. Per game? Ooh, this could be pretty strong then. You're getting a lot of gold.
Lots of gold.
Ooh,
It's
this is
like
tough.
Star Path, but like probably better. Well, I'm immediately thinking, well, you can combo this off of Willy, because
Would you
yeah.
like would you like a little would you like an artifact that might show the power of gold? Because I don't think we've seen one that really
I
shows
reckon
what
we're
a gold can
fine.
do.
I've
It's more fun
W-
without the outside
yeah,
information, I think.
I mean, that works as well.
yeah, because we're trying to judge the value of gold. I mean, just as we tried to judge the value of X cards.
Hmm. I mean, I wasn't going to tell you. I was just going to
Okay,
show you an
so-
extra card that would like maybe open or close your minds, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're like,
I don't
let's
see
change your
why
opinion.
a card. I don't
Oh,
see
go
why
ahead.
a card that's 1 or 2 would have the once per game clause at the end.
Let's go 4.
Thinking 3, 4, or 5, and we haven't seen a 5 or a 2 yet either. So
Probably 4.
I want to lock in 5.
No, we've seen a 5. Oh,
Have
wait,
we?
we haven't really seen
Yes,
a 5.
Yeeting was a 5, by the way. Yeeting was a 5.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Yeeting was a 5. Okay.
It was like
Well,
it
now
was
we've
high
seen
4 to
everything but a
5.
2.
Yeah.
We've seen
Well-
everything but a 2 now, so now I want to say 2, but I don't want to like metagame it and overcomplicate it.
I
Jeez,
think
okay, 4 or 2. I'm gonna. Oh, did
4.
Diamond
4.
really
It's
give us one
because
of
like you're
each?
not gonna. It's yeah. 4, please.
Okay, I'll go 4. I'll go 4.
Okay, we're locking in a 4 here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I've seen this card played maybe twice.
Oh.
Oh no, it's a 2. It's a 2.
It's probably, I don't even know if it's 2. Like there was a period in time where
Oh, it's
it
even worse,
was
it's
like
a
a
1.
2. The issue here is like there aren't many decks that send a lot of cards to grave and then
No.
want them back in deck. And even then there's an artifact actually. Let me pull it up real quick. That is this just better, which is it's called Shard of Chaos. Let me grab the exact text. It's yeah, it's 4 gold. So in other words, you gain 4 gold to start your turn, so you can just play this. You can delete 3 cards from your hand, then choose the same number of cards in your grave and add them to your hand. So, or at least of the same type. So if I delete 3 spells from my hand, I can add 3 spells to my hand. So where I could play this card and gain 20 gold to shuffle by 5 back to deck, I could just play a Shard of Chaos and get them in my hand. Like putting them back in deck's not much helpful. The 20 gold is a lot, to be fair. If you guys wanted that information, I was going to show you a card called Magnetic Glove, which costs 10 gold and just omni searches any card from the deck.
Ooh.
So gold can be powerful. You have another card that's 10 gold that either draws 3 and discard ones or draws 4 and deletes 2, which is the same thing like banishing 2. So in other words, you always go like +1 on that card and you search through the deck for 10 gold. So the gold gain is really good. The issue is, first of all, it's once per game. Like it's just not worth being once per game. And the effect just isn't that great. Especially there are other, I should say as well. There's another spell in the game that just shuffles your whole grave back into your deck. So why would you ever play this over something like that? That would just shuffle your whole discard back into your deck, you know? This card just isn't that great is the issue. It's definitely a 1, I would say. Though, I mean, maybe someone might say it has a niche, but if it does, I've never seen it.
Yeah. Okay, so not bad actually.
You guys didn't score too bad,
Overall, we
actually.
did pretty good.
I thought you might whiff
Probably
on
a
the
bit
diamond
worse than we
pick.
did, I think.
I thought you might whiff on diamond and on barkeeper. Those are like the 2 really big ones that I thought, oh, they're gonna miss on these. But you guys did really well. on those.
Somehow
Those are
we
the 2
did
that I thought
really
you would
well
whiff.
on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys did
How long
really
have we
good.
been going for? Are we pressed for time?
I think no, we got so we I think we've done some really cool stuff. Let's just real quick talk about. Does everybody have a card that they want to share, like a custom
Yup.
I
creation?
Got it here.
do. I found
Alright.
this. I was trying to find an old like. I'll let you guys go first, but I just want to say I was trying to find like an old. I had a note with like a ton of cards that I was gonna look at, but I lost the note sadly.
No.
Yeah, it was
Oh
on my
well.
phone. I don't know what happened to it. It's probably somewhere on the CG
Mm.
server. I know I discussed it with Silver Fang, for example.
All
But
right. Let's
but who wants to go first?
wh-
All right, I'll go first. So
nice.
Mm-hmm.
I've I've got a combiner. I know
Mhm.
a combiner. I would like to formally
Oh,
apologize for having two cards here. I know it's meant to be one. Okay,
Oddish might
so it's
attack
called
you for
Ember
that one.
Crawler. It's from Shios. It has 480 power, 310 health, so it works well with Crimson Grenade. And once
Mm.
per turn, you can discard one-handed Shios 4-star to kill one zoned card. And then when this creature is killed, free play 2 killed Shios 4-stars.
Ooh. Oh,
That's not that
just
terrible.
something real quick. Does that work with Crimson Grenade? Because I could have sworn Crimson Grenade has 7 stars or lower. Like, do
Oh,
would a
true,
combiner count as having seven
true.
stars or lower?
Yeah, it wouldn't count. I just
Okay.
thought of that then, but I still think it's a good card.
It still seems really
You've got
good. Like
Firewall as
you
well.
just go +2, right? Because you just summon 2 level 4s, so it just straight up goes +2.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a chaos beast.
Also, 480 power sounds incredible. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I feel like that's kind of what
Yeah, and
combiners
then
should be though too. Like they should have like they should rival chaos beast
I mean, the issue with that though is that they're
stuff.
free. They're just straight up free to play.
they also take up 2 zones, and they're really awkward to fit into a deck and play.
I mean, sure, but Cerberam takes up 2 zones in battle and 1 zone. If you just add one extra creature zone and only play Cerberam, you're in the same boat as playing a combiner. At least the way I see it, to get full value out of
Yeah,
Cerberam.
yeah, it's
That's
just much
fair.
more consistent as one card.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
I
feel
guess
like
I'll
you
go.
should be scared of combiners. So, and I think
Yeah,
this is scary to go against.
I mean, I think combiners should be good. I just don't know if they should be that good because they're free is my main thing, I guess. And also with the amount of zone gain that you guys have talked about with like Beast the Conjurers, I think Zed was something that was in there. I don't know if people play Altar of Alignment. I loved that card, but I
That
bet
is
people hate it.
true. That is
You
true.
know.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
Mhm.
that's something that could affect that.
So earlier before the recording here, I asked Secret just for the viewers, if a resource card that just said discard a card and draw a card, would it be good? Secret said probably not. I thought it wouldn't, but I was trying to think what would be the limits for a CG player. Like a lot of people don't like spoons, for example, but that goes neutral and search but the main thing is that it goes 3 into your deck, right? So I was trying to think how many cards would you be willing to risk from your hand to go deep into your deck. So the card I made is called Recycling. It's a resource that says discard any number of cards from your hand, then draw the same amount of cards. So in other words, you always go -1, but you dig through the deck. I think that works really well with like the Bugs because you just get them out of your hand. Probably really well with Rainbow, like if you're bricked on like 4 creatures that are different or something that you want engrave. Probably works well with the Skellies and Sindel. Issue is if it's too good is the way I would think, but I can get you guys' thoughts on that as well.
Sorry, was it discard one, draw one?
Discard any number, draw the same amount.
Right? Okay, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I was getting it confused with the one you said earlier.
Oh no! I was just saying that as like
That's
backstory as to
interesting.
what the
Yeah,
inspiration for this card was.
I feel like that's kind of like a
yeah. I don't
mystical
think.
relic thing. Not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Like
Yeah, that it sort of fits in with Quill and Chalice.
and
Yeah,
A
it's
bit.
like
coins.
it's like a quill, but like better because it's never random. But also doesn't affect the opponent. But either way,
Okay, I don't think
Hmm.
it's great outside of Bugs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could see it being used in Temp Floaty. Maybe.
Do people play Temp Floaty? That sounds sick. Well, the issue is like you draw them back, so like it doesn't really help Temp Floaty, right? Unless it's like the last card
Actually,
you play
you
to
know what?
remove your whole hand. You know?
Well, it could get rid of like maybe some buffer cards to just be able to free search. No wait, is it just draw?
It's discard and then
Just
draw.
draw, yeah.
Yeah, okay, never mind. That wouldn't help.
I actually think this card is decent because I think Xemius would play it, just being able to get rid
Yeah.
of a bunch of creatures. And sure, you're -1, but any
You're also
turn,
going deep in the
like
deck,
if you get
probably.
Xemius a turn quicker, then you go +1. And this,
Mhm.
I'm pretty confident it's going to get you Xemius at least a turn quicker. So it should be able to justify that -1. So yeah, I don't mind this actually. Good in bugs and Xemius.
Okay, good to hear. What you got here, Snoopers? What you got for us?
I got something. So the Bearish King is an 8-star. It's a barrel creature, obviously. It's 400, 500. This card cannot be cosplayed. To free play this card, discard 2 4-star or lower barrow creatures in your hand. After this creature is killed, free play 2 4-star or lower barrow creatures onto your planet.
Oh my!
That
I mean,
Damn.
to someone who doesn't play
That's-
the game, that sounds incredible.
that sounds nice. I like that.
It sounds.
I wonder if
really
even
good.
like
It-
the
again,
Bearish King
it's
could
well
be like
enclosed.
it could be like the burrow. It could be the burrow bug king, like maybe with
here's
like
my-
less stats, but
Mhm.
yeah.
I have a question about like that card. Like, does that just power creep? I mean, not fully power creep, I guess, but like it just seems like it's better than Why am I forgetting this Chaos Beast for Barrow?
Inox of Barrow.
Inox. I feel like it's just better Inox because it's 500 health. I mean, you don't get the health back, I guess, if you flip it, but 400 health is still a lot of health, you know.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what
think
I
you
was
could
thinking.
play
I think
Inox and this since it's free.
Also, 500 clears everything, right? I mean, it crashes with the Omnius cards, but other than that, it just straight up clears everything, and then it just goes neutral whenever it dies because you discard 2 and then you get those 2 back. So
I
then you
think
go,
it would
what,
need to
+1
be
technically?
it would it would have to be more like probably like 350 400 or something like that.
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've always been one for jank. I feel like I would play this card with what's that moon that like negates your planet effect, but like discard a card, now all cards you
Robron?
discarded from that planet.
Yeah, Robron.
Robron. I'd probably run this with Robron and just run some like disgusting
Nice.
4-stars that are like other planets and just discard a barrow. Now they're all barrow. He dies, bang, 2 back. Is that terrible? 100%.
Yeah, I think this card's probably
100%. It
a
sounds
bit
fun.
a bit too strong.
It definitely seems on like the higher end, but like, does barrow see play? I don't know.
Not pure Barrow. It sees play with Xemius, and that's about it.
Oh, true. I mean, but hey, it could give pure barrow a spot in the spotlight, you know.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
got really inspired
Yeah.
by I think it was XYZ monsters from Yu-Gi-Oh. Like the thing where like you sacrifice two creatures of the same star level, although that isn't the same thing in this.
I mean, you don't technically sacrifice them; you just put them on top of each other, but very similar. Yeah, you know, like 2 of the same star or 2 of the same level. You just stack them and then put the big, the XZs on top, or 2 or more, whatever it is.
Yeah, I just remember one day I was like thinking about like ways that like theoretically Yu-Gi-Oh type like the special summons could like work in a Chaos Galaxy style thing.
Yeah, I mean, it'd definitely be interesting. But isn't Chaos Galaxy even based on Yu-Gi-Oh? Like, I think Zach based a lot of the stuff on Yu-Gi-Oh. So, I mean, we don't know what's in the future. You know, assuming the game is still in. I think Zach's still working on it, and in that case,
Yeah, he's taking a
it's-
break actually. He just announced that.
I think Lueg DM'd me and was telling me that he was on a break, but I assume he'll be back at some point, hopefully.
Yeah, no, he's gonna work on a new game actually. So that's it. That's
Ooh.
it's quite intriguing.
The future for Zach's game seems bright. It seems very bright, you know?
Yeah,
Seems
I'm
good, yeah.
excited to see what happens. All right, so I think that's gonna wrap it up a bit. But real quick before that, I just wanted to ask you, what is your favorite childhood TV shows, Diamond? This is what we always do with
Ooh.
our guests.
Favorite childhood TV shows. Well, I mean, the top of that list would probably have to be I watched the hell out of SpongeBob, man. My mom loved that show and she would never keep it off the TV. It was always on. Um Outside of that,
Nice.
uh I watched an uncomfortable amount of Robot Chicken, which probably shouldn't be counted as a children's show, but I watched a lot of it as a child, so it's not really a children's show, but I watched an uncomfortable amount of it. Um
Dang.
I was the kind of kid who like woke up at 3 a.m. to watch George Lopez on Cartoon Network kind of deal, you know, or adult.
Dude.
That was my childhood. I stayed up late to watch the late shows because I felt, you know, super mature that I'm watching Family Guy at 8 years old. You know, that was kind of my thing there. But no, I mean, I watched a lot of like SpongeBob. For traditional kids shows, I watched the hell out of the Pokemon anime, but that's because I love Pokemon as a game. I played the games all the time, the card game, and so
Yeah.
the anime was also just something there. Um, I watched a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, but I wasn't really the greatest fan of it. And other than that, like, I mean, I watched some like Danny Phantom. That's another show. But like those are
Danny
also shows I don't
Phantom.
really like watch anymore. Those are shows I watched as a kid.
Yep.
So that's what I would say. Those are the shows that I watched growing up that like I watched when I was young. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
hmm
All right. My question: do you have like a favorite conspiracy that you believe in?
Oh gosh. I'm not really one to believe in conspiracies. I mostly just like give people the benefit of the doubt. But there are some conspiracies that I think uh are very intriguing. Um,
Ooh.
I It's a good question. I mean, I'd have to like look at a list of
Maybe
conspiracies, but like there, I
maybe
don't really have any.
aliens or like one world governments or the CIA controls the president. Just
We
random
live
things
in the
out there.
Matrix.
One that
Yeah, like virtual reality.
one that like kind of embarrassing, but one that I like quasi believed in for a little bit that I thought was really interesting that I had a lot of friends who were very passionate about was the birds aren't real thing, which is
Oh
that
yes.
birds are
Oh my
just
gosh.
government drones.
Oh yeah.
I quasi believed in it because like I had never really seen I live in a very rural area of Texas, so we don't have
Ooh.
like pigeons everywhere like in your New York cities. You know, we don't have a whole ton of birds, but when we do see birds, it's like,
Mhm.
you know, they're just not really. They're not the kinds of birds that you see in those areas. You know, like we see the buzzards, you know, those kinds of things, and the vultures. So like, I don't know. I mean, I've never seen a bird like use the restroom, you know. I'm just saying. I've never like cuz that was never something that I saw every day. I didn't, you know. So I believed in it for a bit. Obviously, it's all fun and games, but for a bit I thought there's actually a little bit of merit that could be behind this. And it's always been a very interesting one to me. A very funny theory that if is real would be hilariously real, you know.
Maybe the chickens are actually robot
I don't know.
chickens.
I mean, I would not be opposed.
And then
I actually did have a few friends who raised chickens, and you know, you never saw one chicken. I'm just saying, you never saw one chicken. So you always
saying,
Damn.
saw
Okay.
4 or 5 chickens. They're collecting data together. You never know. You know, I'm just
you
saying.
never know. You
Sets up a
never
nice
know.
little network. But
That's good. That's good.
that's a good question, Secret. I like that question. And Snoopers, your question was also
It's
good. It was
good. I
just
always
your
get
question was a little
interesting
harder to
responses.
answer, I think, though. But good questions. Good questions.
Yeah.
Well, there
Well,
you have it.
there you have it, folks. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Diamond, for joining us on this episode. And yeah, and we'll See you guys next time. Bye.